We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now a World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and a Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And that's Rob.
And this is episode 128 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and of course, our producer, Rob Flores. You can find us on Twitter, at RealBTRRadio, as well as me on Twitter, at EthanMB95. You can find James on Twitter at
JHW Reporter. You can also find me on Instagram using the same handle. Rob, where can we find you at?
Rob Flores Media.
All right, there he goes.
and YouTube.com.
You kind of a step behind today. Sorry to interrupt you. You're a step behind today, Rob. Are you gonna be a step behind with the time? You are the official timekeeper.
No, I have it on. That's what I'm putting on. I have on the screen.
So the time's not running. You know what? I mean, look. So we're talking about the Royal Rumble today. Let's just jump into it and let's cut the plugs for a second. So we are talking about the Royal Rumble today. And fun fact, at least back in the day, I don't know if they do this now, but they used to have it where it's like every 2 minutes there was a new entrant, or somebody new entering into the Rumble. And they used to like not follow it. Like they would have someone like 30 seconds or 45 seconds or like 5 minutes, just depending on how the match was going. So a fun fact that I've kind of known for a while, but since we're talking about time, did you get the timer?
Yeah.
Anyways, what's going on with today's show?
It's
We're talking about the
16.
Rumble.
Well, we got some breaking news earlier today, actually.
We do. Yes.
There was
Some
a
freaky
release.
news?
Some freaky news.
Yeah.
There has been a release.
Breaking news. Yeah.
Apparently, Lars Sullivan was released some point within the last month or so, I believe.
Well, they said it was in January, right? Oh, it's not January anymore.
That's right. So within the
How about
last month, Lars Sullivan has quietly been released. He did not get featured endeavored or anything like that. So,
By future endeavor, you mean like the goodbye message or whatever?
mhm.
Yeah, okay.
It was breaking news earlier today by a few different sites. So it just kind of came out of nowhere. Not surprising, though. He's kind of been off TV for months and
Yeah.
never really
Ethan.
found anything for him.
Ethan, what is your favorite What's your favorite Lars Sullivan match?
There's the one the one with Aleister Black.
Okay. Is that a real match?
Yeah, they totally botched the
Oh,
Black Mass.
okay. I don't have a Lars. I can't say I've actually really seen a Lars Sullivan match, to be honest.
Yeah.
And even his NXT run was kind of short too, right?
was
I don't
okay.
remember it like
Yeah.
lasting like long or anything.
Actually, my favorite match, I want to say he was in that ladder match for the North American title. Maybe.
Maybe. Sounds familiar.
I'll look it up and see. So that might be the best match.
I mean, it
of them
wouldn't be
all.
hard to find. There's not a whole lot of matches, so.
Yeah, so-
Anyways, that is the breaking news. Did you also hear that Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio got COVID in December?
That's not surprising. They were off TV.
Oh, that's when there was like a few, right? And we kind of didn't know who everybody was.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
There you go. Let's talk about the Rumble. Overall thoughts. I know you saw the show, right, James?
Yep, sure did.
Your overall thoughts, without getting into specifics.
Overall thought it was actually a pretty good show. I mean, when you think about it, the Royal Rumble last year might have been the last one with fans, if not one of the last ones with fans. And to see them pull off a Rumble, which is a highly anticipated event every year, considering the Royal Rumble itself is something special, I think they pulled it off. I thought it was well. We'll save some of the specifics, but I was rather pleased, but maybe not entirely surprised by some of the surprise entrants entrances or whatever, like people who showed up in both Rumbles, for example. But yeah, there was one match that did fall a little flat though.
Let's talk about the opening match.
So
The highly anticipated
okay,
Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship.
you can't let the match, huh?
It was a match, bell to bell.
I guess it was, but I'm just saying, like, it might have technically been a longer match than I expected for Goldberg, maybe.
Yeah, it was a couple minutes.
Post or pre-match shenanigans that I thought was kind of interesting.
Started off with a headbutt from McIntyre, and then a spear through the barricade from Goldberg, and then we saw a couple spears, jackhammer, kick out from McIntyre. He hit a claymore and got the victory, retained the title, and earned Goldberg's respect. So congratulations to Drew McIntyre, who successfully retained his WWE Championship. We did have some predictions that we gave out.
Oh yeah, those. I got that one right?
Rob said Goldberg. Rob said Goldberg. He was wrong there. I believe you had it right.
Of course I had it right.
I think I predicted Goldberg too. So next
you
match.
picked Goldberg too. What's wrong with you people?
I mean, he was a favorite. Was he not?
I mean, I'm not saying it was a given that Drew McIntyre was going to win, but what would it have done for Drew McIntyre if he lost? But I think it is worth mentioning, though, that a win for Drew over, I don't think of it really this way, considering maybe where Goldberg's status is, but when you have someone who beats Goldberg and Brock Lesnar the way that he did, and a few matches with Orton throughout the year, that's a pretty solid run, or I guess a year, I guess you can say, because the Brock Lesnar match was at WrestleMania. So within a year's time, he's beaten some notable folks. You can't say title run because he's on his second title run technically, but some overall, when you look at his opponents and the run that he's had, pretty impressive. So not many people can say that they beat Goldberg and Brock Lesnar in their career, let alone in 1 year, in the same year. So there's that.
Absolutely. Next up, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Sasha Banks defending against Carmella. What did you think about this match?
I thought it was pretty good. Maybe a whole lot of people wouldn't admit it, but I think Carmella is doing a little better than maybe a lot of people would expect. They got Reginald there. And I thought, he kind of adds to the character a little bit. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't know if we talked about it before, where he comes from. I don't know if he's an NXT guy or whatever, but I've kind of seen him take some, he's kind of taking the bumps for Carmella and whatnot. And I don't know. Would you say he's better than Ellsworth being the valet, I guess you can say, for Carmella?
I think so. I think he's more athletic for sure. He has some type of background in gymnastics.
He has a bigger jaw. So he has that going for him. Or wait, he has no chin, not jaw, chin. Well, same thing. Yeah, same thing. Okay. Chin. We'll go with chin.
You and I predicted Sasha would retain. Rob, you went against your favorite. You went against Sasha Banks and Rob.
Okay. I was going to say, why would you? Okay. I could see that.
Next up, we did have the first Royal Rumble match. It was the Women's Rumble match. And we do have the entrance and eliminations up. I do, at least. I guess we'll go through our predictions here. Rob, you didn't give me the exact prediction. I gave you a what is it?
You had a format and you didn't stick to it, sir.
There you go.
He's trying to sugarcoat it. We just straight shooting over here.
Mm-hmm. So for the women's, we knew number 30 would be Natalia. That was given, but we didn't know anything else. So number 1 we had was Bailey, who was a favorite. Actually, did I pick her to win? That's the question.
I'm pulling up the results right now.
No, I didn't have her to win. But number 1 was Bailey, and number 2 was the returning.
Wait, so who did we? Who? Wait. Can you read the predictions first?
Sure.
That way, then we can see how great I did.
Mm-hmm. So for number 1, you had Peyton Royce, and number 2, you had Tamina.
What?
You had Tamina.
Okay.
Most eliminations, you had Rhea Ripley. Iron
Woman. Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Iron Woman, you had Belair. Surprise, you had Ronda Rousey. The final 4, you had Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Bayley, and Shayna Baszler. The final 2, you had Rhea and Belair. You had Rhea and Belair for the final 2, and for the winner, you had Bianca Belair. All right, moving on. Not to spoil anything, but my predictions here. Let's see. For number 1 and number 2, I had Bianca Belair and Bayley. That was pretty close.
Hey, did you hear? Yeah, actually you were. So, well, I think I saw this on Twitter or YouTube or something that, because what? So Belair was number 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And number 1 was like Bayley and who?
Number 2 was returning Naomi.
And I thought I heard somewhere that, or was that for the men? No. Well, in one of these 2 Royal Rumbles, they were supposed to be 1 and 2, and they switched it. Oh, I think that was supposed to be in the men.
We'll talk about that later. But yes, for number 1, I had Bianca. Number 2, I had Bayley. So Bayley was number 1. And as you mentioned, Bianca ended up being number 3. Most eliminations, I had Belair. I don't know. Well, we'll go through and see. Maybe they have I think they do have the number of eliminations, so we can check that. Iron Woman, I had Bayley.
I'd be curious.
The final 4 I had Ronda, Belair, Bayley, and Ripley. So surprised, I guess I would have had Ronda as well. The final 2 I had Ronda and Ripley, and the winner I had Ripley. So, Rob,
some people did though. You weren't alone. There was quite a few people.
There was a number of people I did see. I did watch it after because I wasn't able to watch it live. But yeah, you said Ronda returns, Rob. You said the Iron Woman. The Iron Woman would be. Did you give an Iron Woman? Tamina. You said a London Blaze would be a surprise.
You said, I don't know.
And Victoria.
See, and I remember he said that, but Rob kind of always throws out random stuff. I mean, it wasn't like a big. I don't know. I was kind of like, maybe Rob.
And then you also had Bianca winning the whole thing. All right. So
me and Rob did better than Ethan. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong.
I mean, sort of.
What did you get right?
Well, I was close with the number 1 and number 2. All right.
Okay.
That counts.
Close isn't good enough. And then you had Rhea in your final 2.
That was right.
Did you have Belair?
No, I had Ripley winning.
Okay, so then it wasn't
which wasn't terribly off. All right.
It wasn't terribly off. No.
No. All right, we'll start. Bayley and Naomi, number 1 and number 2. Bianca came in at number 3. Then we had Billie Kay at number 4, who immediately went to the.
And she was great. I thought she was great. I kind of missed her gimmick there a little bit. I mean, I don't get to see a lot like the weekly stuff, and it's not really like highlighted anywhere. But it was kind of nice to see her be funny.
I agree.
I enjoyed it.
Shotzi Blackheart from NXT, number 5. When she came in her tank, she shot shot the cannon or whatever at Billie Kay. So that was a funny moment.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had another NXT. We had Shayna Baszler, actually. And once again, we had Billie Kay try to get a resume to basically everyone coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Toni Storm come in from NXT, another NXT superstar. And let's see who had elimination here, because we hadn't had any eliminations for the first few.
Yeah, it kind of took a while, right? To kind of.
I do know the first elimination was Shotzi Blackheart by Shayna Baszler. Do know that. Okay. So at number 8, we had our first surprise of the night. Of course, the iconic Jillian Hall.
Yeah, that was kind of random. And it did seem like it was the Rumble went by really fast, like as far as like entrances, because there were moments where I like looked away, and there was like, and then I'm like, is that Jillian Hall in the ring, or Beth Phoenix? And I'm like, no, that's Jillian Hall, and I didn't remember like seeing her come to the ring.
She sang her way out to the ring, so
I must have just totally tuned her out. Can you blame me?
She reached number 1 on the charts. Still has a great song.
Wait, what chart though?
It was like a number 1 on the iTunes chart back in 2008 or whatever.
Oh wait, is this a real thing?
Her theme song.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's so wild, right? Like I remember it's so wild, but I didn't think she did that.
Yeah. But her and Billie Kay teamed up for a while. They were Billy and Jilly.
And I really kind of wasn't like, they kind of looked like they worked together though. Like it kind of like seemed like a natural fit, to be honest.
It did. And then number 9, we had Ruby Riott, who has been kind of aligned with Billie Kay, or at least Billie Kay was trying to align herself with the Riott Squad. So there was kind of some interactions there of Billie Kay kind of protecting herself or protecting her friends there. And then at number 10, we had the return of Victoria. She didn't come back with her original theme though, which is a shame.
What? I'm no lady to mess with. That one?
No, there was the one before that.
Which one did she come?
She came out to that one with the fast version. Yeah, there was another one. Anyways, we do have to take a commercial break.
I was very happy. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I was very happy with the way this Rumble had started out. So.
Okay, we're gonna hit a quick commercial break, but when we return, we'll talk more. Continue talking about this year's Royal Rumble match. All that and more right here on Beyond the Ropes.
There we go.
We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to Beyond the Ropes, episode 128. Of course, I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and of course, our producer, Rob Flores. We are currently doing this all over the world. Of course, Rob's comfy in the studio over there. James is somewhere in undisclosed location. And of course, I'm in the middle of a ring here. So
where's his Pokemon?
Charmander's not in the pictures.
He's Charmander's resting. He we had a battle and it didn't go well. So he's healing at the moment.
That sounds like some abuse, but all right.
No, that's Pokemon.
I know.
That's all right.
Of course, we were talking about the Women's Rumble. Victoria. We were all happy to see Victoria, right?
Yes. So very happy to see Victoria, a San Bernardino native, over here where I am currently located. Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Victoria before, about maybe 2 years ago, at the ESPY's red carpet. Talked to her about maybe possibly one day returning to WWE, if she would ever return to WWE. And then she was kind of at the time, or maybe she was just finishing her run at. I do remember asking her who she would like to wrestle with in the WWE, and she said Charlotte was one of the ones that she would like to be in the ring with. Unfortunately, the way the Rumble worked out, Charlotte was not in. Actually, when just to speed ahead a little bit with the Rumble, when Victoria was eliminated, the next person to enter the Rumble was Charlotte. So they just missed each other, but I thought it was great to kind of see Victoria in there. A lot of people have been wanting to see Victoria in there against some of the current superstars, so it was really nice to see. I was happy for her.
That's interesting. I did not realize that, but yes. Number 11, we had Peyton Royce.
The Charlotte Victoria thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we did have Peyton Royce at number 11 here from Monday Night Raw. She had a brief reunion with Billie Kay, of course. This funny moment where she kind of does the iconic pose, but Billie Kay kind of does it halfway because she's trying to show her allegiance and friendship to Ruby Riott at the same time. So nice little moment there. Then we had an NXT superstar, Santana Garrett, appear. She hasn't been on NXT in a while, so it's nice to see her. She's really good in the ring. We had Liv Morgan at number 13, so the other half of the Riot Squad there. And then number 14, we had Rhea Ripley. So kind of one of the favorites there, as we mentioned earlier. This was Rhea Ripley's first appearance since losing the last women's standing match in NXT at New Year's Evil a few weeks ago. So nice to see her there. Let's see. We also had Charlotte Flair, as you mentioned, make an appearance at number 15. And Dana Brooke.
After losing the tag title, we didn't mention that pre-show match.
It was in the kickoff show, that's right. I haven't seen it.
Kickoff show? Okay, well, she lost the title. They did lose the titles. Her and Asuka lost it to Shayna and Nia Jax. And the three of them, Asuka wasn't in the match, but the other three would compete later in the night. So it made sense why it was on the pre-show. At first, I was kind of surprised by it, the kickoff show. But it made sense because they were probably, maybe some of the men, I'm not entirely sure. But I know at least those three pulled double duty that night. So, kudos to them. And if there's anyone who's going to do it, I think at least, someone like Shayna and Charlotte are more than qualified to do double duty the way that they did. So shout out to them.
Someone else did double duty, and we'll mention that person in just a little bit. Number 17, the returning Tori Wilson, the Hall of Famer. Great to see her back. She hasn't aged a day.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking back in the day, I don't think I would have had Tori Wilson as the legend we would kind of see come back often and still going in the ring, I mean, I kind of maybe thought more Michelle McCool or somebody, not really Tori. Looks pretty good doing, she's still in wrestling shape and whatnot. So good for her.
At number 18, we had Lacey Evans. So obviously the feud, she did cost Charlotte and Asuka those tag titles. So there was a little bit of revenge here. When she came out, Flair came out as well. Ric Flair. And there was a little feud, a little battle there between her and Charlotte, leading to the outside. Something about this year's Rumbles is there was a little more outside, not interference, but a lot of action on the outside, which is interesting.
I kind of noticed that too. And to that point, though, I think maybe a lot of that had to do with the crowd and just kind of working some different camera angles and maybe trying to take advantage of the situation. Yeah, just making the most or taking advantage of the situation. Obviously, when you know, I mean, yeah, you don't really have a lot of spots like that outside the ring with fans or whatever. You don't have many multiple cameras because there's so much going on in the ring that you need to focus, you know, just on the ring. And then plus, you kind of really never know who's going to do what on those screens with the fans in the Thunderdome. So if you kind of keep that on for too long, someone's probably bound to do something, I would think. So I don't know. I did notice it too, but I think it worked out.
Number 19, we had Mickie James return. Nice to see her again. We had number 20, we had Nikki Cross. Number 21, Alicia Fox. And with Alicia Fox came R-Truth, the 24/7 champion. Rob, look at Rob. He got excited when I mentioned R-Truth. Look at that. He's got an ice cream bar. He says he probably glowed. Started to glow.
Is that a WWE ice cream bar, or is it just
It's a half-half.
Just
It's a half-half.
Okay, so it's a jobber pop. You got WWE. So yeah, who were we talking about again?
R-Truth.
Sorry. Oh wait, R-Truth. That's right. Random interesting spot.
He thought it was the men's rumble.
Well, he wasn't even in the men's rumble, was he?
No. No, but then he got chased when he was going to go back. He got chased by the 24/7 division, and then got rolled up by Alicia Fox. He lost the 24/7 championship in the middle of the women's rumble to Alicia Fox, who then got eliminated by Mandy Rose, and then he rolled Alicia Fox up and regained the title, and then he was chased.
And that was not the only time Truth lost the title that night.
And then
Peter Rose.
So random, yeah.
And I think it's
no, he went back. He went back on Raw last week.
Okay.
I think it was like a talk show or something that they were doing.
The Rob.
Not Raw Talk. It was
Raw Talk.
No, it was like a Rosenberg show or one of those.
Rosenberg.
And then, so the 24/7 division chased him, along with Alicia Fox, who had just gotten eliminated. It was funny because you see her just in the front of the screen, jumping over the barricade. So, then we had.
I was like.
Mandy Rose at number 22, who eliminated Fox. Dakota Kai from NXT showed up. At number 24, Carmella, also doing double duty, who had just lost that championship match there. Then we had Tamina at number 25. Lana at 26, who returned also from about a month and a half out of action. Alexa Bliss at number 27. Something interesting here. Alexa Bliss was a favorite as well, but she didn't last very long in the Rumble, which I thought was great.
Yeah, I barely even remember seeing her come out. Like it didn't. It just was. I don't know. I think it kind of worked out because then it's kind of like if you do something with her, like if she's in it or if she's gonna win it, then it would have to be kind of gimmicky, right? So I think they kind of made the right call here when you think about it, just to avoid the gimmicky stuff, especially with who was in the ring, considering, what point in the match they were in. And if she's not going to win it and it's not, I mean, there's other ways you can set up a Bliss Asuka match if you wanted to or something. So
I agree. Basically, she came in, got a few shots in, and then everyone jumped on her. And then as kind of the Fiend, her version of the Fiend, started to come out, Rhea Ripley immediately threw her out of the match, which is, the smart thing to do. I don't think anyone expected that, so that was a nice spot there. At number 28, we had Ember Moon from NXT. At number 29, we had Nia Jax. And of course, at number 30, we had Natalya. All right, so let's talk about some of these eliminations here.
Can we talk about who had the most eliminations first?
Yes, let's do that. So the most eliminations this year, well, it went to Rhea Ripley.
Me. I mean, Rhea Ripley.
She
Because
had
I
seven-
got it right,
Did you get it right?
didn't I?
Did you?
I think so. Of
You did. You did.
course I did. Told you.
Um,
I mean, are you going to doubt Rhea Ripley?
no, she had 7 eliminations. Bianca, I believe Bianca and Shayna are still tied at 8 for most of the
Well,
time in the Rumble, Women's Rumble.
wait, say that again?
Belair and Shayna are tied.
Are
at
tied.
8 eliminations last year.
How that? Oh, yeah, they were tied last year.
They still have the
I thought you were like,
the women's record for most eliminations.
oh,
this year.
overall.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant like,
Not this year. No.
I thought you meant just for like
Mhm.
year after year or whatever. I was like,
Oh no, they
Yeah.
have more
Shayna
now.
Shayna was second with 6.
Mm-hmm.
Bianca had 4, which is kind of surprising considering how long she was in. So I don't know.
Some other stats. The final 4 ended up being Natalia, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Bianca Belair. So I think I got the final 2 and the 2/4 of the.
I mean, it kind of. I guess. Well, I was gonna say, it totally makes sense, and it was almost kind of obvious that was gonna be the final 4, but it's not like I picked them. But
It wasn't.
That's kind of obvious though when you think about it, because Charlotte, right? It was Charlotte, Rhea, and Belair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not entirely surprising. And then Natalia being the last one in,
makes sense.
it kind of makes sense. But I think I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
And good for Natalia, kind of being in there at the end, not getting jobbed out as the last one, So.
Mm-hmm. And then we had both Rhea and Belair team up to eliminate Flair, which she left. She left that after, which is great. And then, of course, Bianca Belair solidified her place at one of the main events of WrestleMania by winning the Rumble. So congratulations to Bianca Belair.
Not a huge surprise. Maybe I think obviously a lot of people had Bianca winning it. You can kind of say it was kind of obvious, maybe just because they put out the documentary when they did, or the Chronicles episode. But happy for her. I think it's first. Well, obviously, there's been very few women's battle royals, but she's the first Black woman to win the women's Royal Rumble, and I believe the second African American in WWE history to win the Royal Rumble. I don't know if The Rock was the other one. I guess I didn't see the stat on who it was, but I think she's second in history to win it. So obviously, one of many milestones set at the Royal Rumble event. So yeah.
So I'm gonna give some times here. Bailey lasted 29 minutes and 8 seconds. Not bad here. We also had Charlotte Flair lasting 33 minutes and 47 seconds. Rhea Ripley lasted 39 minutes and 6 seconds. We had Shayna Baszler.
What was
Shayna Baszler lasting 41 minutes and 46 seconds. Naomi lasted 47 minutes and 39 seconds. And Bianca Belair lasted 56 minutes and 52 seconds, officially becoming the longest, also breaking Natalia's record from last year, being the Iron Woman.
Oh, that's right. Natalia was the Iron Woman last year, huh?
Mm-hmm. So Bianca has 2 records.
I think it's interesting too, and I think it's also interesting to see her being the those who were eliminated the quickest. You had 47 seconds for Carmella. You had Alexa Bliss, as we mentioned, was only in there for a minute and 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was kind of like, what's the point of having her in there? You know? But
So,
all right. Ember Moon got jobbed out with 151.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that's how it goes.
Solid women's match, but let's talk about the last man standing match real quick.
Yeah, real quick, because it was kind of
I thought it was
flat
fine.
finish.
Finish, yeah, a little messed up.
It was until
the
match
was fun for me. The golf cart spot was cool.
Mm-hmm.
The throwing off the Thunderdome was cool.
Yeah,
the high spots were
that's
good.
the Kevin. You're talking about the Kevin Owens bump there. I thought it was pretty good. Let's just get down to it, though. What did you think of the end? And we only have a few minutes here before a commercial, but were you okay with it? Did they take too long with the handcuff spot there, or you know what? Just save it for after the commercial, and we'll come back on. Yeah.
And when we return, we'll also talk about the Rumble. We're going to break down the men's Rumble as quickly as possible. So that's going to be a little bit of a process as well, but we're going to talk about those two matches, and we'll be right back right here on Beyond the Ropes. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to Beyond the Ropes, episode 128. I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside James and Rob. Of course, we are doing this virtually, and we're talking about the Royal Rumble. We are currently talking about the last man standing match for the Universal Championship between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Talking about the finish, the handcuffs did take a little too long. They could have done something at that quicker. I thought the match itself was fine, and of course, the Tribal Chief. I mean, how can you bet against him?
It was kind of an interesting finish. It kind of didn't make. I was kind of in and out of this match, so I didn't watch it in full. But so just kind of catching the end specifically, not knowing like the big bump that Kevin Owens took. You know, you just kind of see Roman get out of the handcuffs.
He took a low blow.
You took a low blow, and while he's selling the low blow, Kevin Owens is selling the lows off. And then what? Then KO did whatever he did. I don't know. It wasn't.
He got trapped in the guillotine, and that ultimately.
And did he tap out?
No, he just passed out.
I guess, yeah.
It was fine.
Wait. Because it's a last man standing match?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a little technical issues here with James.
I feel like we're in Wayne's World, or we're listening to that, like, drive-through machine.
That's all right. We'll get through it.
Well.
You're fine now. Don't move so much. Don't move so much.
No, I'm just I just think that the match was
it was fine.
I mean,
all right.
I mean, it wasn't like Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart, you know.
Well, no, but
just saying.
It was what it was. Men's Royal Rumble match time. It was announced that Randy Orton and Edge would be entrants number 1 and 2. So that was given to us ahead of time. Yeah, you're good now, James. But this time we had Edge come out first because it was kind of expected.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Randy Orton would come out first because they said Randy Orton at number 1, Edge at number 2. So they switched it.
And I think, too, they wanted, obviously, to tell the story, though, of how it's going to end, and having him first, it sounds a lot better than him coming out second, which technically is the same, but...
Yeah. Number 2, Randy Orton came out, and immediately Edge ran up to the ramp, and they brawled for a while. Mm-hmm. Number 3, Sami Zayn came out, and Edge and Orton were still brawling. I believe Sami and Orton teamed up against Edge. Then Mustafa Ali came out, also teamed up with him. So Edge was at a 3-1 disadvantage there.
And so I think the thing that I noticed throughout, not obviously the entire match, but when you think about how this match played out in whole, it was very Edge focused on the way they jump on him early. Some of the other appearances later on that had their own story with Edge at some point during his career. So a lot of good moments here that kind of call back to Edge, obviously. So
Jeff Hardy kind of made the save at number 5. Ultimately got
and
RKO'd.
the history that the history those two have, for example,
He got an RKO for his troubles, as well as Sammy and Ali ultimately being betrayed by Orton. And then we saw more of a brawl on the outside by Edge and Orton. Edge ultimately hitting an execution on the table and even using a couple of chair shots on Orton. And took him out. Took him out for the rest of the match, or so we thought. Match continued with Ziggler coming out, making his 14th appearance in the Rumble, second only to another superstar who made an appearance later on. Then we had kind of my dark horse, Shinsuke Nakamura here. He returned with his old gear, not wearing the singlet anymore, which is nice. So he was out there. And then number 8, we had our first major surprise. Carlito made his return in almost a decade. And
he looked pretty damn good too. I had to say, he looked better now than he did back in the day. And I think he shows up on Raw the next night. So it was expected Carlito was going to return. People thought he was supposed to come back at that Legends night that they had, but that's cool.
He's back. I don't know. It was just an appearance. Rob is asking. He did show up on Monday Night Raw teaming with Jeff Hardy to defeat Elias and Jackson Riker in a tag team match. So, number 9, we had Xavier Woods, who obviously has been feuding with Retribution. So he and Ali got into it. Then we had Big E, the other member of New Day. They eliminated Sami Zayn, and then they took their focus to Ali, who went on to eliminate Woods, but that angered E, ultimately eliminating Ali later on as well. At number 11, we had John Morrison, and number 12, we had Ricochet, and at number 13, we had Elias, and Elias would end up eliminating Carlito. That's not cool.
Okay, so that's kind of what set up that tag match there.
At number 14, we had our NXT entrant, Damian Priest, who's got some spotlight here.
Yeah, and is apparently buddies with Bad Bunny or something like that.
We didn't talk about Bad Bunny. Maybe we'll talk about him later because apparently he might be involved a little more in the future. So
WWE's apparently next superstar.
Apparently,
who knows?
The Miz came out. And Bad Bunny, he destroyed Bad Bunny's DJ set. And earlier in the night, they had kind of a confrontation where Miz and Morrison were trying to get Bad Bunny to join them and make this huge entertainment conglomerate. Bad Bunny obviously declined, and they didn't like that. He came out, and Damian Priest eliminated both Miz and Morrison. And then we got to see Bad Bunny do a dive off the top rope onto Miz and Morrison. So there you go.
Which always surprises me when you get some of these celebrities who if they really wanted to don't need to be doing any of that kind of stuff, but they get their one shot ideally in the WWE ring, so they're all in and they're ready to live out their childhood dream. Obviously, I'm assuming Bad Bunny's a wrestling fan. I haven't really read or seen that anywhere before, but he's done the music video with Booker T. I think the song is named Booker T. Booker T's in the video. They were performing. Booker T was there for that. I thought I heard something where like Steve Austin was in a music video with Bad Bunny, and I think someone else not The Rock, I don't think, but someone. I think there was another wrestler involved in Bad Bunny music video. So obviously he's a wrestling fan. So
without a doubt. At number 16, we had Riddle come out, who had an impressive performance. And number 17, a favorite. And my prediction, I should have never predicted him, because even though he was the favorite going in, my heart was set on someone else, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But number 18, Kane, who still has the most appearances at a Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Number 19, we had
Yeah, I don't. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say for Kane, it's like, we talk about the Undertaker streak and all that other stuff. I mean, if Kane's streak is ever broken, and I think he can extend this streak at least till next year if he wanted to, but I think this is one of those streaks that might not be broken anytime soon. I mean, you're going to find people who are going to be around for 18 plus years at this point. So I think this Royal Rumble appearance streak is something that's kind of, one of those that's going to be hard to beat. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Miz and Ziggler are not too far behind, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If King keeps appearing, then it'll be hard to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Number 20, we had Otis. Otis made an appearance. 21, Dominic Mysterio, who eliminated King Corbin. They've been feuding on SmackDown, so there you go. Bobby Lashley cleared house. He eliminated Dominic, and it took 4 guys to eliminate Lashley. So that's a story there.
Yeah. Keeping him strong.
Number 23, Hurricane Helms, with the surprise here.
Mm-hmm.
Tried to pull a double chokeslam on Big E and Lashley.
On 2 of the biggest dudes in the whole match, and it's just like,
Didn't work with Triple H.
No.
It's not gonna work with those guys.
I think the superpowers of the Hurricane have dwindled a little bit over the years, apparently. So
Maybe. And number 24, maybe the biggest surprise of the night, Christian, who returned after 7 years of not competing.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to his old buddy Edge. His story there. I mean, appearance here, you could tell they had their own moment there in the middle of the ring, which was great to see. He looked great.
Yeah, he did. Some people think that Christian might be, considering the shape that he was in entering that match. And I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe you get him back in the mix. You have some time before you are really going to establish that, however the storyline is going to work out for Edge chasing the title, leading up to WrestleMania. But maybe we can see him and Christian in a tag match at the Elimination Chamber, or what is it, Fastlane coming up next?
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe we can see a tag team match with those guys kind of leading into it. We'll
Christian
see.
has not held the United States Championship. It was posted on, as we're recording this earlier today, of the accomplishments of Christian, including light heavyweight champion, European champion, IC champion, world champion, tag team champion, of course. So he's had a number of accomplishments, but not the U.S. title. As Rob was asking. Number 25, AJ Styles, who was my favorite to win it all as well. Didn't happen. He showed up late in the game. I felt like this Rumble, even though it was somewhat predictable, had some unpredictability still to it, because there was a lot of rumored names, and things just kind of went all over the place, which was great. I like it. Number 26 was Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
27 was Sheamus. 28 was Cesaro. 29. 29. Perhaps I made a mistake by saying Christian was the biggest surprise, because number 29. I mean, let's talk about it. Everyone's favorite wrestler.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
The Messiah, Seth Rollins. Look at his great new gear, his new red jacket. Did you see the jacket?
I have comments. Let's forget about your jacket for a minute. What number did he come in at again?
29.
What number did he come in at? 29. So apparently he's on leave because the great Becky Lynch has a baby. Congratulations to them both once again. But obviously, Seth Rollins comes back to compete out of shape. He's obviously out of shape if he's coming in at 29. what was it? A few years ago, he was like the Iron Man or whatever. He was, he was kind of running the gauntlet there in the Rumble. Now he's in at 29. WWE's not confident enough to book the man. Why couldn't Seth Rollins be number one?
Seth Rollins
obviously
has
obviously
improved because last year he entered at number 30. This year he entered at number 29. So he's he's improved.
I mean, he didn't win it. He had it. Supposed to be this great wrestler the great Messiah or whatever you claim for him to be. He comes in late in the Rumble, has an advantage, does nothing.
You know what's unfair is Braun Strowman entering at number 30.
That's fair. I mean, it's fair that's unfair. I get you. I agree.
Because Seth Rollins, his spot was taken from him, and Braun Strowman was in the way of Seth Rollins winning this match.
Mm-hmm.
Seth did eliminate the favorite, though, Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
So perhaps
was he the favorite?
Bryan
was Daniel Bryan?
Bryan was, I think, leading the polls or whatever to win the whole thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
What is it called? What were they called?
The betting.
The betting odds. Yeah.
Yeah, the betting line or whatever it's called.
Odds, yeah.
We don't gamble, so we don't know. Fans.
No, yeah. Both him and Bianca were the favorites to win, so
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think Edge and Ripley were also up there, so it kind of makes sense. But anyways, the final four consisted of Christian, Edge, Braun Strowman, and Seth Rollins. Technically, because we didn't see
Orton do that.
Yeah, technically the fifth person would have been Orton.
Okay, so Christian did make the final four then.
Technically.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
or five.
I mean, yeah. But still, I mean, that's not bad. And what number did it come in again?
24.
Okay, I mean that's not bad.
Which, by the way, was the same as Beth Phoenix last year, and she made a note of it.
Right.
Which is
right. Yeah, I saw that tweet too. Beth was upset that she can't catch a break with. So what was she in the men's rumble last year? Is that what it was?
Oh, women's.
Or she? Oh, just in general, anything she tries to have different.
She has to share Edge.
Yeah,
with
right.
And then number two.
In the entrance number 2. Okay, gotcha.
Which is great. Of course, Braun and Christian were both eliminated by the Messiah, Rollins. So look at that. He eliminated 2 people at once. Nobody see.
I mean,
look.
Sure.
Then he was, rudely thrown out by Edge, who then got RKO out of nowhere. RKO out of nowhere.
Yes.
And as he was,
and I was scared.
Edge.
I was so scared. I was like, they're gonna do the Daniel Bryan spot all over again, and they're gonna make everyone mad, and I don't know. I got worked up a little bit, and then the way it ended, I was okay with.
He reversed.
So
Orton got thrown out. So Edge won.
And it happened so fast though that the cameras kind of was in it could have easily kind of been missed. I don't know. The way it played out was it was kind of good because it happened so fast. The reverse and just obviously because it's an RKO for Edge to reverse it that quickly. There's the way things played out. You're like, no, it provided a roller coaster kind of moment or feeling where you're kind of on this low of oh my God, Edge is about to lose it because Orton, that Viper sneaks right back into the match when you count him out. Only for Edge to reverse at the final minute. I thought it was a great call. Yeah, and I mean, obviously you're going to end with a Rumble, but I thought that was a great finish. So.
Absolutely. So, as we're wrapping up here.
Wait, so did we say our predictions?
We didn't. We basically
did I have Edge win?
You had Edge. I had Daniel Bryan. I don't know why I bet against Edge. I was just going with the betting odds, which is a mistake, obviously.
Real quick, let's I know we with the predictions. I mean, obviously they can get them on Twitter, but I want to make sure we kind of run through those stats. I don't know if we've done that yet, right? Most eliminations, time in the match, and all that.
I lost the page already, so
I got it.
Okay.
So Big E had the most eliminations. No, it was actually 4 people. So this was a very kind of even and fair Royal Rumble. There really wasn't. So you had 4 people tied with 4 eliminations: Priest, Big E, Seth Rollins, and Braun. Edge
Seth
had 3.
Rollins.
Bobby Lashley had 3.
See, Seth Rollins
Yeah.
there he goes. Hard worker.
Yeah. And then and it's funny because they had Big E being eliminated by Almost, who wasn't even technically in the match.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second here. This says Riddle. Oh, that don't make no sense. It says Riddle was in there the longest with 31 minutes. That's not true.
Besides Edge and Orton, I think he was.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't have. I don't know why they don't have Edge and Orton here. I don't. However they want to count Orton, but a good showing for Riddle nonetheless with 31 minutes apparently. Was he in there that long? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
I think I do remember that. He had a good little run, and only 1 elimination, but good stuff.
Overall, very pleased with
I think
the
we're
Rumble.
wrapping up the show.
Very pleased with the Rumble. Like the results. Looking forward to, we're on the road to WrestleMania, so I'm looking forward to doing more discussions about this. So until next time, this episode has been too sweet.
Too sweet. See y'all later. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for joining.